It is July 2nd as we head into 4th of July weekend. This is the Wrestling Inc. podcast. I'm Glenn Rubenstein, joined by NYC Demon Diva herself, Issa. Just us tonight, going into this holiday weekend, talking about SmackDown, the build for Money in the Bank, and what a tease tonight, Roman Reigns. I hate when they do that. Oh, he's going to be here. He's going to be nearby. And then by the end, it's like, Roman sent a letter, a telegram wishing you well.
Some of us wait all week for the moment that we get to see Roman. A week.
That's flex though, man. He got off on the 4th weekend though. Good for him.
And Alfred did too. Apparently everybody wants to take Fridays off, right?
Yes, we know where we stand in the card rankings of the Wrestling Inc. podcast. Working on a holiday weekend. But no, this flew by tonight. A little repetitive, as SmackDown has been as of late, but some very good things with the build towards Money in the Bank, starting with this promo from Edge, setting up a one-on-one match against Roman for the Universal Championship at Money in the Bank. And really intense promo, really good, talking about, if he wins this, it'll be 10 years to the day when he retired.
Oh, he needs to stop that.
I know.
What is his gimmick? Living in the past? Why can't he just say that he came back to prove that he still got it and he's gonna prove just that? You know what I mean? Like this whole I don't know. And another thing that I like the promo. Edge is so good on the mic, right? And his promos are so passionate. The way that he just cuts his promo is amazing. But he also says, "Oh, Roman, I got your number," and I'm like, "You never beaten him. You shouldn't be saying that you got his phone number. Is that what you got? Because you have to beat him before you're sitting out there saying I got your number."
And he just texts him angry face emojis.
Yeah.
Fire, fire, fire.
A sandwich, because he was the sandwich in that pin at WrestleMania.
I'd forgotten about it because I was like, wait, didn't they have I was like, oh yes. Probably worst WWE t-shirt design in recent memory.
So bad.
Probably up there in the top 20 worst of all times, along with that AJ Styles shirt from TNA.
Oh, the Jizz shirt.
As it's affectionately known by the wrestling community. Tonight, this was good, but here's how I kind of see the path though, right? At Money in the Bank, Roman takes out Edge. At SummerSlam, he takes out Cena. At Survivor Series, perhaps he takes out Brock. And then at WrestleMania next year, hopefully The Rock.
When does he get to Rollins? Because they're kind of building that up too. At some point, he'll wrestle Rollins as well.
Yeah, but that's nowhere near as big as these other ones. That's the problem. It's actually Rollins should be almost first in this order if we're kind of going upwards. Right. In terms of, boss hierarchy. Rollins, because we know Rollins ain't winning. We know Edge ain't winning. Cena, it's going to be great to see Cena lose, and I know they're going to do it in a way that is going to just entertain everyone. With Brock, people are going to think, oh, maybe ratings, yada, yada, when he beats Brock. But then The Rock, that's going to be he can't beat The Rock, and then he beats The Rock, and then he just ascends to the heavens, because what else is there left to accomplish on this earth?
Yeah, I mean, depending on the superstar shakeup or draft or whatever it is that we end up doing, we might get, like you said, a couple of feuds that we know he's going to still win, but we might still get to see some fresh feuds. There's a couple of faces on Raw that if they end up in the same brand as Roman Reigns, I think they could really have an interesting feud with Roman Reigns. Randy Orton, AJ Styles and Roman had a great feud years ago. It would be nice to see them run it back again now with this different characters. But you're absolutely right. It's I don't think that I feel like out of everybody that there is right now, Edge is the person that you are most likely to believe has a chance against Roman Reigns. So this was the right call to bring Edge back right now.
No, I think it's good. Yeah, I think with Rollins though, I don't know. I think it'll be a great match. I think it'll be an entertaining feud. I think they have a lot of history, which always makes for very good promos. Yeah. There's a lot they could talk about in reference to the Shield, perhaps going back to their time in FCW together. Be like, Roman, I knew you before you wore a vest.
Yeah. That would be an excellent way to start the feud.
Yeah, there's a lot they can do with that. But with Edge, this was intense. To your point, a little repetitive. Edge has kind of been cutting the same promo since he's been back. I feel like, though, it's not the problem with the performers. It's the problem with creative. I'm trying to think of the best promo in recent memory where I really felt like there were fresh or new stakes or motivation or this is why I want to do this.
There was a really good promo promo segment between Kofi Kingston and MVP on Monday Night Raw. Excuse me, I have a little bit of a cold. And I thought it was very passionate, and he brought me back to the Kofi Mania days, where you're like, hell yeah, Kofi, let's go. Yeah, I like that. Edge has the fact that it feels real, but he's not. He's not. I don't know that what he's saying makes any sense, and I really don't like this whole living in the past. Like, I feel like he just keeps making it about the past instead of just saying, listen, yes, I had to retire, but here I am back, and let me start a whole new legacy. So like Edge 2.0,
What they need to borrow from Broadway and the musical genre. And they have a term, I don't know how big of a fan of Broadway musicals you are, but they call it the I Want song. And that's where the character explains their motivation. That's in Hamilton, My Shot is the I Want song. Yes. Somewhere Over the Rainbow in The Wizard of Oz is an I Want song. And Dear Evan Hansen, Waving Through a Window. We need these promos to explain who I am, what I'm looking to accomplish, what my goals are, and here's how I'm going to get there. And when Edge goes out there and does that, this didn't feel like an I Want song. It felt just sort of like, I'm here to make a statement. Could you imagine if you went to a Broadway musical and the characters I Want song, and they're like, I'm here to make a statement. Well, why? To send a message to the locker room, to let them know that they're on warning, they're on notice. Like, these things all mean nothing.
Right.
Good Lord. I feel like I put people on notice 7 days a week, and it gets me nowhere in life.
Yeah, no, I agree. That was an excellent comparison, Glenn.
Yes, I'm just going to start tweeting at people and go, you're on notice. I'm sending a message.
I'm tweeting Roman Reigns because he didn't show up tonight. I was looking for.
You're on notice, buddy.
You're on notice.
It's just, and that's the thing with Edge, like, but the delivery is there, right? He could just be reciting an Italian restaurant menu with that delivery, and Cage would be like, "Oh, what intensity!" And he's just sitting there going, "Breadsticks."
Do you
cheesy breadsticks?
Oh my god!
I remember when I had the cheesiest breadsticks. They were pesto. They were incredible. And I think back to those breadsticks. And you know what? At Money in the Bank, Roman. Money in the Bank. I'm going to go beyond those pesto breadsticks, perhaps with a side of ranch. Because why not? Let's get.
And I'm gonna get cheese on my salad.
Yeah. That's the thing. It's like his cadence is great and his delivery is great, but what he's saying just kind of feels like, dude, this is the same script.
Do you think that this is happening because he has no history with Roman, right? Because I'm thinking about the Edge that was cutting promos against Randy Orton, and that Edge and the promos and the things that he was saying were amazing, but he has such a long history with Randy that he had where to feed from. As to here, he doesn't have any history with Roman outside that of him winning the Royal Rumble in that WrestleMania match. So he has to resort to, I retired 10 years ago and here I am now again, but I just don't, I'm critical of everybody cutting the same promo. We all are. So I just feel like it feels like you're cutting the same promos when you won the Rumble. You didn't even need to cut those promos back then because you won the Rumble. You're automatically granted the match, But yeah.
Then the best part was when he made the argument that he had Roman before Daniel Bryan, before the interference, when they went to the still shot of him with Roman. That was very good. But the rest of this was just very flat for me.
Yeah, he could have picked a more flattering photo to show, but whatever.
Does anyone look good? Like
Roman always looks good. It's even
that was a bad photo, but that was on purpose, though. You don't want to show, like. I want to remind people how dashingly handsome Roman Reigns is.
Beautiful.
Oh man! So we went from this opening promo to Kingsuke Nakamura and Big E
versus Shinsuke. Come on.
Yes, versus Baron Corbin and Apollo Crews. Now, the descent to Happy Corbin. We are on the pathway tonight, right? Look at his life. He's lost all this money. His Mercedes G-Wagon was repossessed during the match. Baron Corbin is headed towards bottom, folks, and Happy Corbin will rise from the ashes.
Corbin is coming. Listen, I thought that Baron Corbin did a good job at conveying that he was actually legitimately sad. He did a good acting job there when he was talking backstage, and when he came out, he looked sad.
Yeah.
I still don't buy him as a face, and I feel like this is going towards a face Baron Corbin, and I don't think that I want to see it. Right? I feel like when I look at Baron Corbin, I always just see a heel. And tonight, I was like, they're gonna try to turn him babyface. Like, what are you gonna do with a babyface Baron Corbin? Nobody's gonna like it. People want to boo this guy. Even when he was sad, I'm like sitting here telling, like yelling, "Suck it up," you know, like it's Baron Corbin.
I want to see a riches to rags story, where he has to, go get a part-time job, maybe get a side hustle, start supporting himself. I want him to really
he used to play football. He could be like a high school football coach.
That would be good. That's a good side hustle, good gig for him. And I think it centers him. I think that's how you do it as a baby face, though, is that you have him just go down this path. And I think you could kind of do it. What I hope they don't do. Oh man, I hope they don't do so he loses everything and he realizes it's not about material possessions.
That's what's going to happen.
I know, and it's going to be so disappointing.
Yeah, that's exactly what's going to happen. I'm like, I'd rather see him like not want to give up the rich life and like turn into a criminal and start like robbing banks just to like make sure that he stays rich. I think that would be a better story.
Telling you, they have these job openings to write for WWE all the time. He said, "You're not that far from Connecticut."
Yeah. I could take a train there.
Submit an application, and I would love to see that picture. I think he needs to turn to a life of crime to keep his lifestyle, and he'll like rob banks and become perhaps an international jewel thief, and then also wrestle matches.
And he's like robbing people backstage. Like they had to start locking the locker rooms because Baron Corbin is stealing wallets and stealing credit cards, stealing identities, going into the dark web. He's the one like selling information to the dirt sheets for money. Oh my God.
And then, here's how he gets over. He confesses he stole Stokely Hathaway's CD player, putting that mystery from the Indies to bed. I think you're onto something here, Issa. I think this is the key with Baron Corbin. Bruce, Vince, if you're watching this, mail that check.
Yes.
NYCD
Cash App. You don't even have to mail it. I have Cash App. I have Venmo.
Oh, that would be good. That would be really good. I really like that. So yeah, this match was nothing.
It's a way to give us the same match that we've seen a million times, but now they're like, we're gonna put him in a tag team instead, like so that way, like to try to mask. I was like, at least Big E pin Corbin, you know what I mean? Because I was like, if Shinsuke pins Corbin or Big E pins Apollo, and we get the same combination of the pin, I was going to be upset. So at least they kind of switched that up a little bit.
Yeah, Rick Boogs would have been the most over wrestler in the world in like 1988.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's good. It's a good
when they said it was a tag team match, I thought he was gonna team up with Shinsuke for a second. Did you think the same thing? Or I wasn't paying too much attention, so it's like tag team match, and I see Rick Boogs there, and I'm like, are they actually going to like team up? They should.
I know. But that's got to be a sweet gig, though, right? You go out there, you're the hype man, and you don't got to take bumps. Like you're just swinging, baby.
Yeah.
Gotta be good.
Somebody has to make sure that crown is safe while Shinsuke wrestles, He can be like the bodyguard of the crown.
In 2 weeks, he's going to be so over with those live crowds.
I know. As soon as they see him, he's going to get such a pop. I hope.
Oh, absolutely.
I cannot wait to see who's over and who's not and what the crowds are feeling and what they're not feeling. You know what I mean? Because right now, we're so blinded to what people are feeling out there.
Yeah. So Big E and Shinsuke won that match. We had Bayley come out and cut a promo, face off with Bianca. Money in the Bank. They're going for the championship, and it's going to be an I Quit match. Now, did they officially do this? Bayley made it seem like this was almost a loser leaves town.
Right? That's how I felt. But
they title versus career.
No, they didn't make it that. The graphic just said it was going to be an I Quit match. Yeah. And I have such mixed feelings about this because after seeing them in Hell in a Cell, take my money for this match, right? I just don't know that I was a lot into the promos that were cut, But I love the confidence in Bayley. I was like, when she said, like, you're never gonna make me say those words, I'm glad that Bianca didn't cut the the bully promo again because that drove me crazy. Bianca seemed very confident tonight. She came out looking good. But I cannot wait to see the match, but it also goes to show you how thin the women's division is. And we'll talk about, later what happened and they're adding people. But we're getting the exact same matches at Money in the Bank for the women's titles, and that to me just goes to show you they're not really trying to do much here with this women's division right now.
Yeah. This was good though. It was better than just the laughter promos. There were stakes. There was
still some laughter, though. There was still some laughter.
Well, always some laughter. Always
the
some joy.
only thing that I didn't connect with here, and I love both of these women, and I love the feud. I think they're gonna kill it, honestly. But I didn't like that Bianca was talking about, oh, you can't get in my head, but I challenge you to an I Quit match so you can get out of my head. She literally said that, and I'm like, wait, what? You know? And also, she was talking about having Bayley's number again. I don't know, that was a thing tonight or something, but Bayley did pin her last week, so it didn't feel very I don't know, you know, like there was no continuity to what happened last week. Maybe it was because it was a tag team match. Bianca might not you know, count it as a victory for Bayley, but Bayley pinned her.
I would think Bayley would do very well to move to Raw. I'd be bummed because I'm not watching Raw, but I think that it would be good to see her get some new opponents. I feel like SmackDown's women's division has gotten very repetitive. And we'll talk a bit more about that.
Because they don't have anybody there to do anything. They have to mix things up. Yeah, this draft is needed. Yeah. I just don't want them to be on neutral until they do the draft either. You just mix things up. We don't have to see the same things, you know?
And Sasha's presence is very felt. Yeah. Or like the lack of Sasha.
The lack of Sasha is incredible. Like she's leaving a hole in this women's division big time. When she comes back, it's gonna be awesome. She's gonna get a huge pop.
Yeah. We got this last man standing match, Money in the Bank qualifier, Kevin Owens versus Sami Zayn. Okay, I'm a huge mark for these guys, but I do have to admit, like, maybe we could have had a longer break between seeing them again. It was good. And the spot, they had great spots, great intensity. Loved KO getting the win, but I have to admit that these guys always go out there and kill it.
Like over it.
We've just seen it a lot, though. You know what I mean?
Are you sad because Sami lost? Is that what's going on here?
I'm having trouble accepting.
Yeah, I thought so. It's okay, buddy. It's okay. I have mixed feelings about this too, because as much as I'm tired of seeing them wrestle, I thought this was so good. I thought this was one of the best matches we've seen in SmackDown in a while. You know,
it was a very good match. Yeah. Just the freshness of it.
Yeah, and that's the thing with them. It was like you know you're seeing them wrestle, so it gets like tiring, but they still make it feel fresh. Now, if this doesn't end this feud, I don't know what does, because this should be how you like. This was attempted murder. We were talking about Baron Corbin choosing a life of crime. Kevin Owens chose violence tonight.
Oh yes,
and like I don't know how he got up from that double table spot.
The double table spot was fantastic. The end of this
they did really that double table spot at Royal Rumble. He had I think it was an I Quit match. No, Last Man Standing with Dean Ambrose. They did that exact same spot. I'm glad he went back to it.
You know what it's like? This is a very Sami Zayn reference. I don't know if you're gonna get to see it. Have you seen a lot of Albert Brooks movies?
No.
Oh, see, Albert Brooks, modern romance, all-time classic. Lost in America, perhaps one of the greatest films. Defending Your Life, easily in my top 5 movies of all time. But then he made Mother with Debbie Reynolds. Then he made The Muse with Sharon Stone. Then he made Looking for Comedy in the Muslim World in 2005. And Defending Your Life like kind of peaked. And before that was like, okay, this is kind of the same shtick. It's kind of the same thing. And I really like you, Albert Brooks, but you could change it up a little bit more. I feel like you're always playing yourself, you know, in these things. And I think with Sami and Kevin, like, they can have the best match. It was great when they were partners, when they teamed up, because you had that history and you had that turn, and it was nice seeing it flip this time with KO. But we've seen that, though. This wasn't the first time where KO was the babyface, so they're letting them go out there and do these exhibitions. And these guys have wrestled each other probably cumulatively thousands of hours in their lifetime. These guys have spent in a ring together. But I feel that like the Last Man Standing match was good. It was definitely brutal. It definitely went on for quite some time. There were some good spots, but I'd say that in the hierarchy of all their matches, it was not their best. In fact, their best might have been, didn't they have a ladder match against each other? I think they had a one-on-one a while back. That might have been their best one. They did one ladder match.
They've done everything. They've done,
and that's the thing. You know, you do it and you just keep sort of riding and rolling with it, and it's hard to make it feel fresh and new.
Right. And another thing here is that I almost wish they would have had them qualify against different people, because it would have been fun to see them both in the match. I think that Sami Zayn with the briefcase would have been hilarious. I also think Kevin Owens with the briefcase can do a lot. I did think, though, whoever won this qualifying match was going to be a game changer for the ladder match, because I was like, this is a top contender. Whether it's Sami, whether it's KO, this is a top contender that I would like to see with the briefcase.
And I feel that match almost needs Sami. Sami brings so much to multi-man stories.
He's very good with ladder matches too. Remember when he had that, was it with Jeff Hardy and AJ Styles, the Intercontinental title match? When he came back, that match was incredible. And he's so good in ladder matches. That's it.
But even with the promos, there's so much he could do in trying to form alliances and trying to do like different angles with it. I don't know. I feel that I'm glad to see Kevin Owens get this opportunity, but I feel like the storyline will be less exciting for Sami Zayn not being in it.
You know what's going to happen, Glenn, is going to be that when KO is climbing the ladder all beat up, Sami Zayn is going to come down and tip it and cost in the briefcase so they continue the feud for another 3 years.
Yeah. They should pair up again, man. Like that was.
I would love to see them have a tag team run.
I know. They were so good together in that feud against Shane and Daniel Bryan.
Yeah.
So good in that. So we had the tease tonight, and then they delivered on it quickly about another competitor in the women's Money in the Bank ladder match, a returning Zelina Vega coming back to the WWE. It was rumored. It was weird. There were rumors like a month ago, and then it kind of quieted down, and then today, like, nope, she's back.
Yeah. This was a mess, right? Because I felt like I was so happy to see her back. It's weird because of what happened with Aleister Black. You know what I mean? Like the whole thing is weird, but she came right back and she didn't lose it. I loved her promo when she was like, "It is your honor to announce me." I thought it made sense because there's nobody on SmackDown and we know it. Because I didn't think it made sense that she announced Carmella last week, but now that Bayley's in a title, match, I get it, because she said it was according to like accolades, and I'm like, nobody has more accolades than Bayley in SmackDown Women's Division, so she should have named Bayley. That being said, it just feels like, okay, so she's back and she's automatically in the match, but you made Liv prove herself last week. We all know Liv is gonna end up in the match probably, you know what I mean? But it was weird, but I'm happy to see her back. The women's division need more women right now, so I'm not gonna complain about this. We need fresh matches and we need new faces.
And good. I mean, look, Zelina versus Liv, love both of them. Great to see them have a match, but I do not think it was the right call to have.
Why would she lose her first match back?
Like, and that's where it's like, is there something else? Is this punishment of some sort or some weird flex? Like, you're back and now, like, who's in control? You know what I mean? Like, it seems kind of strange.
You didn't even have to have the match. You didn't have to have the match. With her return, I felt like that would have been a big deal enough. Ended the segment. You go backstage and Liv stops Sonya and complains about it. And Sonya says, well, go prove yourself again against Carmella. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, I know we've seen it. Like, you run so many matches so many times, but then you do this first time ever out of the blue and you have it end that way. It didn't make sense.
They stepped on their own pop because everybody was talking about Zelina being back. Everyone was talking about that promo. And then it was like, everyone's talking about the fact that Zelina lost to Liv Morgan. Again, love Liv Morgan, but come on.
Me too. And there's no reason why both of them cannot be pushed. This was like it was a horrible decision. And I would have not given you Zelina's first match out of the blue already. Like, nobody was expecting her to come back and you already have her in the ring. Save her for next week. At least announce it for next week. And like sit down and think about it before you book the finish. You know, I didn't like it. I didn't think that Zelina should have wrestled tonight, nor did I think she should have lost that match. If you're trying to do a push for Liv Morgan as well, then have her pin Carmella. Like, do it every week. I'm not gonna stop saying that. You run the same matches week after week after week, and you can give with Carmella and Liv again just for the sakes of keeping Zelina protected.
I'm trying to think. When's the last time a talent returned and lost their return match? Maybe outside of Kurt Hawkins. When's the last time? No, but seriously, like when Jinder came back, you know what I mean? Like, they've had talent before that has been released and then brought back. I feel like they always win. I feel like it's not. This was a weird start in the history of WWE.
It's probably the last. If we really go back and try to think about it, it was probably a woman. No
Probably.
offense, but they don't treat the
Yeah.
women's return the same way they treat the men's. Clearly, there is no way that they would have done that to to a guy returning.
And this infinitely makes her more interesting because she left a couple months ago over the streaming rights. She had the tweet about I support unions in wrestling. Her coming back, it's kind of buzzy what's going on there, and even though it was leaked with the rumor mill a couple weeks ago, like this was a big return. And then it makes you wonder, okay, again, not to speak to her personal relationship, but what does this mean about Aleister Black?
Right.
And his status? Like there's so much speculation in this. And with Zelina, you have to think because she was Andrade's manager for like 99% of her time in WWE, and Andrade's now with AEW. What does this mean for her as now a performer and competitor, and her ability to cut her own promos? Like there's so much you could talk about and think about and fantasy book and speculate on, and they killed it. They just put the fire out immediately by having her lose this match.
Right. Yeah, I agree. And I feel bad for AEW fans because Andrade has been teasing a surprise. And I think a lot of people were hoping to see, Zelina back together with him in AEW. I think the women's division needs her. I just think that tonight was just the wrong decision. It was the wrong decision. And she was so perfect in her promo, and it should have ended there. And you could have done just something a little bit differently with how to get Liv to prove herself.
Alonzo is saying Mickie James to Asuka at TakeOver Toronto, but didn't Mickie wrestle a match before that when she returned, or did she just return and immediately go for the title? I can't remember.
I can't remember if she came back to the main roster first and then went to TakeOver. Did she go to TakeOver before she came back?
She went to NXT first, I think, and then went to the main roster. But still, okay, at a pay-per-view, though, at least you're getting like a real... Like, this was a nothing match against Liv Morgan.
She should have not wrestled tonight.
And Mickie James losing to Asuka is... I mean, at the time,
Asuka was
I mean, like, yeah. Terry Allen Jr. 520 saying MVP had a losing streak in 2008, no bonus. Tunnel was taken. Similar story to Baron.
I don't remember that story. I'm gonna have to go back and look into it. We'll see what they're going to do with Baron. It was just I don't know. I just don't want to see him as a babyface, and that's where I feel like they're going with it.
Well, Sean Howe saying it's a pattern. Liv's going to fight the next woman announced next week. But the Liv Morgan storyline should not... I mean, is that the most important story that's going on here? Like, Zelina's return, I don't know. I feel like work around that.
Well, that's what I'm saying. You could just have both of them. Both of them could be your story. You know what I mean? Because both of them will feel like rightful winners for the briefcase. So why not try to push both of them instead of having one beat the other? Like, I also would not like to see Zelina beat Liv because you've been building her up. That match should have just not happened. You booked yourself into a weird corner with that one.
I'm going to call it based on this. I could see Liv winning the women's Money in the Bank. Like, maybe they're finally pulling the trigger on her.
You think so? Then why have Zelina come back and put her in the briefcase? Like, I don't know.
Because we're great. And again, since she was wrestling under her own name in NXT, huge fan of Liv's, but they've so done nothing with her. Like so many false starts and finishes, and you could tell that they like her, and she's got a lot of talent. She's got a great look. She's good in the ring. But this, maybe I'm reading too much into it, but like to me, this seems like, okay, there's got to be a reason why they gave her the win over Zelina tonight.
You know? I thought they were possibly building her for like a title feud, because who is Bianca gonna feud with after Bayley? Hopefully a returning Sasha, because it's SummerSlam. Like, they have to build SummerSlam, and they're trying to say SummerSlam is supposed to be a big deal. I think Sasha and Bianca 2.0 at SummerSlam will be amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, maybe you might be onto something. Maybe Liv is winning the briefcase. It would be nice to see it go to someone that, you know, that deserves it the way that Liv does. But then again, why bring Zelina into this role?
I know that's what I can't understand, but I'm telling you, Liv, even though she's been doing this longer than Bianca, Liv versus Bianca, like, no, like Liv's not winning that. But there's something about the briefcase. There's something about the briefcase and being an opportunist, being an upstart, timing it as another level of strategy where Liv with the briefcase is super credible, because that gives her a chance. I don't know if she would win though. Like, I don't know if she's ready to work at that level.
I would like for the briefcase to go to a woman that hasn't won the title yet. So Liv, Zelina, because like Naomi, Asuka, Alexa have all had their moment. Nikki's another one that hasn't won the title. I would like to see the women's briefcase go to somebody that could feel like when Bianca won the Money in the Bank. Like, I'm sorry, when Bianca won the Royal Rumble, like a big opportunity was just created. That's what I want this briefcase to feel like.
Yeah. Antoine Fair saying you can't have it both ways. The story was you were bringing in all these people and overlooking me, Liv. I'm going to beat them, improve myself, and maybe Money in the Bank. I mean, maybe that's the bigger story. And if that's the case, I feel bad that Zelina was brought back to just sort of
Yeah.
Which is, I mean, that's the worst thing you can do when there's excitement about somebody coming back. I just hate that. I don't know. And I think it's a slap in the face to things fans get genuinely excited over.
Yeah.
You know?
Yep.
It's kind of like, did you watch WandaVision?
No.
Oh, okay.
But you can go ahead. I'm sure people.
Okay, spoilers. There was a big thing when they brought in Evan Peters, who played Quicksilver in the Fox movies, who returned in WandaVision as recasting the role of Quicksilver as Scarlet Witch's brother. Fans lost their shit because they're like, is Marvel acknowledging the multiverse? Are we going to see now Fox characters coming back and Hugh Jackman come back as Wolverine? And then Marvel was like, no, that was just a fun little casting thing we did, but he really was just this guy that they tricked into thinking it was their brother. It's sort of like that. So it's like with Zelina, it's like, oh, Zelina's back. There's going to be this big push and this big program. No, we just thought it'd be fun to bring her back and, maybe have her wrestle some enhancement matches. That's what I'm saying. Like, fans get excited about stuff. You got to, and this isn't something unlike movies and TV and things you shoot. This is on the fly. If I were them backstage, if I were Bruce and looking at social media and someone telling me what's going on, I'd be like, maybe we should call an audible and have Zelina win this. Cause I think like this is trending. People are excited about this.
Yeah, especially because a lot of people speculated about why Zelina left the way that she left and her coming back to kind of like being slapped around. Are you okay?
I'm okay. My coaster stuck to the bottom of my cup and then fell off my cup.
It just doesn't feel, something just didn't feel right here. I feel like both women could get a push, but I like what Antoine had to say, where it's like Liv current storyline is just stop overlooking me. I'm right here. I'm your girl, because you have to rebuild Liv after the Riot Squad. I just don't think that the two of them should have wrestled each other. Yeah.
So that's our soapbox tonight on how WWE is just.
It's just aggravating, because like it feels like you took a step forward for the women's division, bringing Zelina back, a new face, only to have her lose.
So you think Seth pre-taped this backstage with Adam and Sonya?
Most likely.
Yeah. If he beats Cesaro next week, he gets a spot in the men's Money in the Bank ladder match.
I have like this theory that everybody that was missing in AEW and WWE this week are all in Hawaii celebrating the wedding.
See, there you go.
But I would assume Bayley was there, because Bayley's good friends with both of them. She was responsible and flew back.
Yeah. And that's not a short flight from Hawaii to Florida. No. That's
maybe it was in Florida, and I'm assuming Hawaii because the picture just looks so pretty. It was a tropical place,
but it can't be Florida.
They love Hawaii. Like, if you go through their posts and they got engaged there and all that, so I just assume. Okay, I don't know where they got married.
It could be anywhere. I was watching Predators last night, the third Predator movie, which I'd never seen before, and they shot that half in Hawaii and half in Austin, Texas, and they got it to match.
Yes. Fast and the Furious 5. I think Fast 5 was filmed in Puerto Rico, but they pretended it was Brazil.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Didn't know that. I'd not seen the third Predator film until last night. It came out 11 years ago. I'm
very disappointed in you.
I think it's my favorite of the series. I think it's the best. I think it is the best film in the Predators. I think it is better than the original. Yes.
Even better than the first one?
We watched the first one before that, and it just hasn't aged that well. It's kind of hokey. Right. The last half is very long when it's just Arnold versus the Predator.
Yes.
But in this one, I thought Adrian Brody was great. I liked Alicia Braga.
You can't judge it on how it is. You have to judge it on how you felt back when you watched it for the first time.
Well, but this was interesting because Predators came out in 2010. So this is an 11 years old movie that I'm watching now. And I was like, this actually feels really current. Really cool. Good twists. Good, interesting storyline. I thought the premise was really good. If you haven't seen Predators from 2010, I heard the 2018 movie from a couple of years ago sucked. But
I didn't like it.
But Predators was solid. And I watched it because the director, Nimrod Antal, directed Metallica's Through the Never, which for some reason we watched the concert movie we watched on Netflix like a weekend ago, and we were like, I'm not even the biggest Metallica fan, but like, this is a beautiful looking movie. Like, it just looks so cool. I was like, what else is this guy done? I was like, oh, he did Predators. I never saw that. It was good. But yeah, so they could be in Hawaii, they could be in Florida, they could be in Austin, Texas. Who knows? But no, the wedding photos did look very pretty.
Yeah.
So before we get back on, have you watched anything good lately? What are your recommendations?
Oh my God, I don't have any recommendations. You know what I watch, and it's such trash? I watched Too Hot to Handle on Netflix, like the second season, and it's a horrible show, and I don't suggest anybody watches it.
What is Too Hot to Handle about?
It's a show where they put a bunch of like good-looking people in an island, but they're not allowed to touch, kiss, have sex, or do anything. And they every time they like have any kind of like interaction, they lose money from the prize fund. So it's ridiculous, is what it is. Sometimes I like trash television, okay, and that is a prime example of it.
I actually think this sounds fascinating. It sounds like Temptation Island without the infidelity,
without the temptation. You can, like, you've been tempted, but you can't really do it. So it's like it was exciting. I also liked The Circle too. The Circle is pretty good. It's a good social experiment, and every time it's a freaking catfish that wins it all, which to me drives me crazy. You should watch that one. I think you will find it interesting.
I need to watch some. So we're gonna watch Fear Street Part 1 tonight.
Okay.
Which debuted on. Have you heard about this?
Yes.
Yeah, so the first one comes out this week, then one next week, and then one the week after. I'm excited about that. We're going to watch that. But no, we got to do some... And I queued up the documentary you mentioned the other night about the psychic.
Walter Mercado?
Yeah, we have not watched it yet, but it's on my watch list now.
So
we're going to get there.
Let me know when you watch it.
Oh, absolutely. Jackson Darkness Gaming, $5, saying, read Ringside News the other day, says Joe's role in his NXT role will have him wrestle very soon, and Sonya too. I would love to see Sonya Deville.
Me too. I was just reviewing back to where we were at last SummerSlam, and it's when she had that match with Mandy, and I love that feud. I thought Sonya was on fire for that feud. I would love to see her come back. And yeah, Samoa Joe needs to come back. Otherwise, it's just a big tease every Tuesday.
Yes, I agree. Serge McTavish, £2. Do I have to read this? Otis is the doppelganger of Chubby from Teen Wolf. That was the character and that's bad when the character's name is Chubby. And with Otis, if Vince thought he could get away with that, like that would be Otis's name.
They're just trying to make him look like Chad Gable. That's what it is. Because he's part of the Gable like Academy. Didn't you look at that, like how similar their hairs and like, I don't know.
Sounds like a single white female sort of thing.
Yes. Yes, literally the same.
That would be
a great gimmick.
That would be a great gimmick. Oh my God. Like if Chad was like, Otis, man, what are you doing, man? Like, we don't have to have the same haircut. It's cool. And he just starts like buying like matching gear and like copying Oh, that would be solid.
Same car.
Yeah, everything.
Moves into the same apartment complex. Like, oh my God, it would be amazing. Yeah, we're booking some great storylines in this show.
I know. I feel like, I mean, better talk about this than Otis versus Angelo Dawkins tonight with Otis getting that win. What else can we say?
I just listen, I feel a little bit more invested, but not, I can't look at him. I can't look at him. It bothers me. It bothers me. I can't. I don't want to be that mean, but it just bothers me. It feels like somebody took over. Like okay, you know the movie. Well, look, you're getting to me because now I'm referring movies. But what was that movie where you had like a double person, the scary movie, Us?
Oh yeah. Yeah,
I feel like that's like Otis basement person wrestling for him right now, and not him.
The subterranean doppelganger.
Yes.
I got in an argument with my wife because she was like, I think Otis looks better now. And I was like, please don't talk to me about how attractive I am in the future, because now I'm seriously questioning your judgment and taste.
You said that he looks better?
Yeah. And I was like, really? I was like, I do not think this is complimenting.
No. I do think he has like a darker vibe to him, the way that he's
his style, sure.
But I can't look at him. And listen, I'm a Yankees fan. Yankees are infamous for making people clean cut, shave their faces, but this is not it. Like, I usually am all pro this, but this is not it.
And I think here's the thing. Look, I think in professional wrestling, you can have any body type. You can dress in any style, but I almost think it's pass fail as to whether the complete package works or not, right?
Right.
And I think that if you look at what he was doing before, the complete package of it worked. Yes, it was a little bit caricature, but I think that it was a very well-presented version that was able to connect and get over. I didn't like a lot of the jokes they made at his expense, especially with the Money Bank storyline, but I thought that his look was not the issue. And I just think with this, it's just not as flattering. And I say that as a larger guy, like there's some stuff. I mean, before I had a beard, there's like some clothes that I own. Like I look to people in my life. I look to my wife and people to tell me like, no, you might not want to go with that. You know, either something's too baggy, it's too form fitting. We all have to find what works for us. And I just think that for him, I think losing the facial hair is a mistake. I think that he needs to reinvent his character to be the best version or a better version of himself to put out on television.
Yeah, and presentation is everything. And
it has nothing to do with losing weight. It's all in his presentation.
No, it doesn't. Like I am like there's so many wrestlers that are like Kevin. Look at Kevin Owens. You know what I mean? You don't feel like Kevin Owens needs to go and have lose weight.
Alonzo Smith saying if Glenn cut his hair and shaved his beard, you look just like Otis. I would look like a big fat baby if I shaved my beard and cut my hair too short. We were going through Peacock choosing avatars, and my wife insisted that we choose the avatars that look the most like us of the Peacock ones, and I had to choose the Boss Baby because that's the one that looked the most like me on the Peacock options.
I have nothing to say.
What's your Peacock avatar? Roman?
It's Roman. But the name is Tribal Queen.
Oh, well, there you go.
Yes.
That's good. It's good. Antoine Fair saying off subject. Did you see the Roman interview I sent you on Twitter? I don't know if I did see that. Antoine, if you could bump that back up, I will watch that later tonight. Just reply to it. So I will see it. Jackson saying, yo, Issa, feel better, homie. How are you feeling? How are you doing?
Thank you. You know, I got a cold and it all started on the last podcast with this. Remember how I had a cough? I thought it was like my throat was dry from talking. But then after that, the last 2 days, I've been like bedbound. Today is the better day.
Just sitting there watching Too Hot to Handle.
Yeah. But you know what? I don't know how to act. I haven't had a cold in so long. And I feel it's because I'm leaving my house more now because, I'm vaccinated. Yay. But here also the weather has been insane. Like we just had a heat wave. So I was going from like 100 degrees to like the AC. You know how that is. And then today it was storming. So I'm going to blame this cold. It's just like a head cold and it's just like the weather. But yeah, I took a big swig of Dayquil before so that I could.
Oh, that'll do it.
Yeah, it does.
Is it the good stuff? Like the behind-the-counter Dayquil, not that over-the-counter shit?
Yeah,
you know what I'm talking about.
I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah.
Antoine Fair, $2 saying, Otis has a Vader vibe now, but Vader had the mask. The mask really helped.
Don't put him in a mask. But
I'm saying like Vader, though, if Vader without the mask, yes, there is a similar vibe, but that's not how Vader was presented.
I don't know. I think that he's trying to look like Shaq Gable, so that's just my opinion.
Okay, so single white female storyline, that's where they need to go. That's what they need to make happen.
1000%.
I agree. So we had the main event segment tonight. Again, this was interesting pacing. I mean, obviously they're really, 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 really building up Edge versus Roman in just a week from Sunday at Money in the Bank. So we had Edge out there, and then we had Jimmy Uso come out, and Jimmy Uso out there, and they had a confrontation. Pardon me, Jimmy was out first, then Edge. They had a confrontation, and then we went off the air with Jimmy attacking Edge, but then Edge submitting Jimmy to end the show.
Yeah, I like that promo that Edge cut with Jimmy right then and there, when he was like, this is a trap, but it's a trap for you. Blah, blah, blah. Like, I actually kind of like enjoyed the interaction between him and Jimmy. Where in the world is Jey Uso?
Yeah.
I cannot wait for them to resolve that. I'm very curious to know where Jey has been. I thought Roman was gonna come out at some point, but it's just because I long to see Roman.
Yeah, I know.
Exactly. But I want to know what role like Paul Heyman was playing here to kind of like coach around Jimmy. I guess he didn't lie to him, technically speaking, right? Because he just said, go be in the main event. And Jimmy did just that. But Edge is extremely angry, but I don't know. I don't know why listen, I guess it's just 2 weeks in a row of Edge standing tall over them.
Yeah.
And that makes me worry for Edge well-being next week.
And maybe Roman was there in a spiritual sense. If you believe in Roman and accept him as your tribal chief, he is with you at all times.
Yeah. I wake up in the morning and I acknowledge him first thing.
So do you think Paul Heyman knows what the word yeet means?
Oh my God, I can't believe it. Yes, 1000%. Paul Heyman is a very hip man.
I was like, you need to put the word yeet on your shirt. Big letters. Yeet? I had to Google it, I admit, because I'm old.
You didn't know?
How was I going to know what yeet? I mean, like...
You obviously haven't been listening to the music recommendations, me and Alfred.
I just finally, after that country episode of This Is Pop, I finally listened to Old Town Road like a week ago for the first time. The song's like 2 years old, and I was like, oh, this is good. I understand why the kids like it.
You just listened to it?
Just listened to it.
Oh, man. Okay.
I'm behind on some current trends.
It's okay,
yeah. Movies and TV, I watch a lot of new ones, but with music, it's weird how I discover things now that I'm in my middle ages.
So is the yeet? It's just like his own personal hoodie, right? This is not merch.
I mean, Day One-ish started as their own personal thing, right? And then became. I mean,
but there's no way they can trademark yeet. Like that's like a slang word. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like they're not gonna
one own yeet. Yes.
Yeah. Regardless, I thought that. I don't know. I like Jimmy Uso been going from zero to so pumped up to being towards Roman with Jay missing. I'm still very curious about what's going on there. And again, Edge standing tall 2 weeks in a row. Like you said, they're really trying to build this match and make Edge look like a credible contender for Roman Reigns. And they're doing that.
Maybe Jimmy versus Edge will happen next Friday. I mean, we know how it's going to play out. If that were at the pay-per-view, I'd be like, who's going to win? Right.
Well, Edge had to wrestle Jay, remember, on an episode of SmackDown. I would like to see that. I want the whole point of seeing Edge return. I know you don't want to use him every week, and he doesn't have that kind of contract. But I love seeing Edge wrestle the newer talent that we haven't seen him go against. So I'm not gonna be mad about him wrestling Jimmy Uso.
Yeah. So it was a good episode. It was enjoyable.
A
little repetitive in parts. The Zelina thing.
We have Shinsuke and Baron Corbin are having a qualifying match next week.
I'm here for Baron Corbin hitting bottom.
I'm here for him becoming a criminal.
I really want to see that happen now. Antoine, $10. Thank you, Antoine, saying Edge's story to this makes no sense. You're mad that you had Roman beat, but Daniel cost you, so you come back and you're mad at Roman and his family. Yeet means throw Glenn, like get out of here. Yes, I Googled it. I know what yeet means now. I understand. I just had to make sure that I was understanding it properly because I'm hip with the kids and their slang.
Yeah, I'm with Antoine on this. Like, I thought that too when he came out. I was like, why are you so mad about? Like, you lost your match. I still think that he would have made a better argument saying, I never got my one-on-one for the Royal Rumble. Like, that's a better argument. But again, I have a theory that it's just like he doesn't have a lot of room to play with. And somebody in the chat mentioned, I think it might have been Alonso, I can't remember earlier, that Edge eliminated Roman at the Royal Rumble.
Oh, yeah.
So that's also something cool to bring up that he never talks about. I don't know. I just like, so you sat inside a cave for the last 3 months, like sulking in a corner?
Yeah.
Okay, buddy,
We'll see. We'll see what happens.
He's very unstable mentally. I'm worried about him. You don't think he comes off a little bit unstable? Like,
I think most of the roster comes across. Most of the roster seems like they could use some therapy.
No, just Edge.
Just Edge.
Everybody else is perfectly fine.
I would like to see Otis in therapy.
Oh God, no! It will turn into a mess. I no, you know what? Baron Corbin might need some therapy too.
Baron Corbin has so much potential.
Maybe they offer therapy in prison after he gets caught robbing banks.
We'll see. From your lips to God's ears. Maybe it'll happen.
I'm gonna cut the clip and tweet it just to put it out there to give him the idea.
I think it's good. I think it's a solid way to go. Something. And I think that's the thing. I mean, So yeah, it's like as people that watch a lot of movies and TV and see a lot of other media, there's so much fresh and original storytelling going on right now, and the WWE is just like, no, we're good. I'm here to send a message to put the locker room on warning.
You're on notice.
You're on notice. Yes.
Yeah, I don't know. I have a bad feeling that everybody's saying they're saving it for the crowds, right? That's the new big thing.
Yeah, but
every month we find a new excuse for what they're saving it to. You know, like I think once the crowd come back, it's gonna be like, well, they're saving it for SummerSlam, and then they're gonna save it for Saudi Arabia, and then they're gonna send it for like they're gonna be saving it for something every month.
Yeah, they're like Nathan Detroit stringing along Adelaide and Guys and Dolls. Like next year, baby, we'll get married then. Just wait till my big ship comes in. I get that big payoff. Then we'll get married. You'll see.
Damn.
Yes. That's the only wrestling podcast with a Guys and Dolls reference.
Yeah.
Probably in the 2020s.
That's why I look forward to this every week.
Yes. Okay. So on that note, everybody have a great holiday weekend. Monday Night the Wrestling Inc. podcast.
Are you going to do any fireworks? Any grilling?
No. And we got really into barbecue 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And it really was just eating burnt food all the time. I was eating like burnt vegan food all the time because I would go out and grill stuff and it would just end up burnt.
Oh, well, you're supposed to go to somebody else's.
I know. And then I have things I don't want the vegan stuff cooked on the same grill with the meat, and it's a whole thing. And, it's...
Yeah, I can see that.
Let me tell you, it's pretzel bun summer here in the Rubenstein household. We just discovered the pretzel bun a week ago.
Pretzel bun is salty dogs. I like your summer. It's like lit.
We're just eating everything on pretzel buns. Vegan burgers, pretzel bun. Vegan bratwurst, pretzel bun.
I don't like pretzels or pretzel buns, but I will tell you one thing. It was one of the words that I had the biggest struggle pronouncing when I first learned English.
Pretzel, interesting.
Pretzel, yeah.
Yeah, the pretzel bun is good, but you have to change your sauce game. You do need something like a little horseradishy or a little mustardy to kind of balance that flavor. Like a pretzel bun with ketchup alone is nothing.
I'm a very picky eater, and everything that you're mentioning, I don't like.
I understand. The pretzel bun is not for everyone, he said, but here we are. It's Friday
what is for everyone? Roman Reigns, and he wasn't there tonight.
Roman Reigns, yes. He's the why I have the name. I was gonna say he's the brioche bun of professional wrestlers. Yes. Everybody loves a brioche bun.
Everybody loves yes.
There you go.
Sticks, like that breadstick promo.
10 years ago, it'll be funny if next week I eat the breadsticks again, because 10 years ago is the anniversary of when I first had the breadsticks, and I really love them. So won't that be nice justice if I eat them again on that 10th anniversary?
And acknowledge it.
In front of the crowd.
This is going downhill.
Okay, have a great 4th of July weekend, everyone. We'll catch you back here next time on the Wrestling Inc. podcast.